Hello friends, welcome to Sumit Nish. Today we learn about the ngFor, how we can use ngFor directive, how we can improve our performance with the help of ngFor. Because ngFor, this directive is very crucial directives in the Angular. If you are using ngFor in a wrong attributes or wrong HTML tags, it maybe decrease your performance as well. So how we can use that ngFor, how we can apply that and improve our Angular performance, that we learn in this today's session. So we just come down our VS Code. Initially, I'm just creating a for directive component. That component I just map our app.component.html. Okay, for to which I'm just initially do these things. Nothing's any specials. Now we can apply that ngFor. First, we understand the syntax. Most of the time we apply in wrong format and the output will not be get it in the appropriate format. So first, if you want to apply this ngFor, for that we use a star. Star is a structural derivative, that is an indication of that ngFor directive. ngFor equal to, we can just use create a one variable. For that we use a let keyword. Inside that let, we just create the variable. You can create any variable name as you require. After that we use of is a keyword and mention your array name. Basically ngFor is apply on a array. Always and always apply an array. It may be array or it may be array of object. So remember these things. Most of the times you mistake in that you can apply that for directive on object. Basically, it's not be working. It gives a runtime error. So always ngFor is apply an array. It iterate element by element. Such if you are using any programming languages like Java, Python, any other programming language, in that we use a for each method. For each method is behaves like iterate element by element. Same behavior, same logic is applied on that star ngFor attribute directive. So it is also iterate element by element, and you will get the appropriate output. So you can apply any HTML tag. For that, we just apply on array. Initially, to understand this concept, first we create a array in our component file. So we just come down our component file and create a simple array. We just create a course array of type any, or you want to create any string type array, you can just create it. For that, we use a square bracket, and inside the square bracket, we can just mention that our data. We learn this concept in our Typescript. If you are not aware about the Typescript, just check out my playlist and you can just go through that video. How we can understand the Typescript, how we can use Typescript in Angular, that all things are be introduced in my channel. So first come down here, just create the one course array. I'm just using, for example, if you learn the first programming language is Java, because this is most popular and every freshers is learn these things. Then after that, we can use, for example, some basic stuff like HTML, CSS. If you learn CSS, then you or after that use a JavaScript. Then you can just move further for database related activities. For that, use a MySQL. For that, again, you learn some advanced Java, and you just, I think you learn the one more framework is that Spring Core. Spring Core is a simple framework. On the top of, we use a Spring Boot. Most of the people confuse that Spring Core is different, Spring Boot is different. Basically, Spring Core is a core about the Spring Boot. If you understand the Spring Core, you can understand the Spring Boot as well very easily. If you directly understand, if you go through the learn to Spring Boot, it's very difficult to understand or grab that concept. So if you want to learn that, I also upload that videos on my channel as well. And after that, we can just mention here one more course. Right now, you are learning the Angular. Okay. And if you want to learn more technology, you can just go through that AWS as well. And most of the time, most companies also acts Docker. So you can then learn these things. Now I'm just creating the here simple course, okay, course array, and we can just use this course array to my HTML. So we just come down here. We can display the data in a simple UL tag. For that, we use a UL tag. In this UL tag, we use a li tag. So here, what the data is to be rendered to the end user. In that HTML element, you have to apply a for loop. Most of the time, people are mistaken and apply the ngFor on UL tag. If you are apply ngFor on UL tag, it's iterate multiple times. So we don't create the UL tag dynamically multiple times. We have just rendering data. That rendering data is a job of that li tag. So we have to apply for directive on li tag. So simply star ng for, that is the syntax we discussed over here, star ng for. After that, we just create the let key, create a simple variable name as you want of is a keyword and mention your array name. And ngFor is iterate element by element that we discuss. So whatever the data present in the course array that comes into this atom variable. So we can just string interpolate for the rendering purpose. We use the atom. Inside that atom, we can use to display a data. Fine. Now we can just cross check whether that course array, the data is displayed in our UL tag or under the li tag. We just cross check and goes into the browser. Sorry, we just come down here. See here, the data is displayed. Core Java, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, all these things are displayed. But we just apply on that for loop on the li tag. Okay, and also we use a simple array. If your requirement is that is I want to apply this for loop on array of object, can be possible? Yes. For that, we just create one array of object and how we can apply the ngFor on array of objects. So we just create the ARR product. We just create the any type of array, and inside that we just create a product array. Most of the e-commerce sites we check out that we have to check the list of the product. Okay, so for that, to iterate that things, so I'm just using a curly bracket. In that curly bracket, we just create the product. For example, we just create the ID, and if you want, I'm just creating here for my display purpose. I'm mentioning the ID. Next, we can create the product for the mobile product. So I'm just giving the name of that product, and I'm just mentioning here name of the product. For example, we are very has to that mobiles Samsung. Most of the people are very crazy for that different types of mobile usage. So I'm just using a Samsung. May Samsung has a 25,000 is the sell price, and we just mentioned that quantity, and I just want to buy. I'm creating only one object. Right now, I'm just not using ID. I just want to say just want to show one more functionalities. For that, I'm just not using the ID. We create one more objects inside that, and just we just may give the name as a, for example, most of the budget phone is a Realme. I'm just use a Realme. Sorry, that's Realme. And the price ratio, I think Realme products are very budget level phone. So we just mentioned that 18,000. Right now, this new phone is launched. Also Realme, it's very good. Again, we can just mention our Motorola. I'm very fine about that Motorola. You mentioned is the Motorola price and it is 30,000. One more phone I want to add. So I'm just adding your dream phone, maybe Apple phone. The price is, oh, the price is very attractive price. I think this price also many, whether the price I'm just mentioning very less. I think it's maybe more if you take a appropriate proper Apple iPhone. For I'm just mentioning that price. Okay, now this I'm creating an array of object. I can apply this array of object on my particular tags. So for to display a data in this table format, okay, because see, every product has its a fixed information. What the fixed information it is, we just let discuss these things. For example, I want to display all the data into the appropriate format. For that, we have to just create a table. Inside that table, we have to create a multiple rows. Why multiple rows? Because whatever the data present, this first object, I want to just display in this row. Means for every object, we have to create a row. It created dynamically. For example, the table has given a serial number. Then for that, we just mention the product name and all these things, price, quantity, whatever. The data we just mentioned here, that we can just mention here. Okay. Inside that, every row containing the object data. It contains object, whatever object is there. It is there basically name, price, quantity, all the data is present in this particular row. Means in the first row, the product is come down here. In the next row, the next object will be rendered in the next row. According to that, multiple rows created dynamically and rendered the data. That means we have to apply the for directive on a particular row, not a particular column. Most of the times we confuse it that we can apply that ngFor on row or on column. Basically, column is a fix. If you notice that things, every object contains name, price, quantity. Name, price, quantity. These are constant fields. Constant fields means it displays the data for each product. Only the row is will be vary every time. So for that, we just create the so how we can create that? For that, we just create the table. We will come down here. Sorry, I'm just clear these things, and we come down to apply the for loop on the table. For that, we just create the table. That is we can create the simple industry level table. Inside that, we just create the T head. I just want to display the data that we use a T head, and for that, we just heading a TH. I just want to display a serial number. Now, right now in my object, there is no any serial number, but how we can use that serial number? We just wait it and watch these things, how we can apply this thing. Then one more is a product name. So I just mentioned that product name, sorry, product name. Next, we required a product price. I'm just using a product price, or one more TH is required for display the product quantity. So I'm just using a product. I'm just use a shortcut QTY. Not much wasting the time, and just use a actual T body. Inside that T body, okay, I'm just forget one more here. I just want to create a row. Okay, inside that row, I just want to display all these things. So don't mistake these things as well. Most of the time we forget that things. Right now, I'm forgetting these things. So don't do this. You also create a one more, create the TS tag. Now in the T body, we just create using a tier, and inside the tier, I will just want to create the column. So let's see how many columns I want to create. See here, the 4 header th tag is used. Means you have to put column inside the tier tag, and we just apply the for loop on the tier. So star ng for, I'm just using here. Simple use a let atom of, and just mention our array name. What the array name we created in our component file, that is a array product. We can just mention that array of object. If you want to use a index, you can use also index as well. For that, we just use a semicolon and mention that index. Index is a predefined variable given by the Angular. It contains your current data index, whatever the data present in the atom variable, that particular index is present in this index. That indexing we can store in the variable, that is a variable is a I. We just mention the as I contains a index, whatever the data present in that index. I'm just mentioning here, I just want to display three format. So I'm just applying a simple logic, I plus 1. We can just mention that because array is pointing initially in the 0th index. So I don't want to display to into the 0, 1, 2, 3. For that, I'm just using I plus 1. So approximately it is automatically serialize the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in that fashion. Now I just want to display the data For that, we use a string interpolation. Inside that, data present in atom, but each atom contains a full JSON object. So what the atom dot, I just want to display a name. So what the key name is, my object key name. Okay. Now same, I just want to use in the next column as well. So I'm just writing this string interpolation atom, atom dot. I just mentioned that key. The key name is, I think we mentioned that price, and second is a QT1. So we just display a data. I'm just comment out this thing. Otherwise, it will render it in the output. I just don't want that things. So I'm just comment out these things, and just we cross check it whether our data is rendering in the table or not. So we just come down our browser. See here, the data is dynamically rendered. Dynamically row is created, and my DOM structure is updated dynamically. Right now, I'm not applying any CSS and for to make attractive for this table, but you can apply it, comment it, how we can apply the border for the table. Right now, I'm just using a simple attribute. There is a border attribute, but it is a deprecated, guys. Don't use that border attribute. It is a deprecated from this HTML. So I'm for the time being, I'm just using. You have to apply the border with the help of CSS. So you can just do it yourself and apply the border to a table using the CSS. Comment me if you are applying, or it is if you not be apply, how you can apply. I will give the video also on that. Just comment these things. If you apply, you can just post that code as well in comment box, or you can give about your experience, how we can render it for the quadrant. Okay, guys. So border, I'm just applying. We just check it. That border is applied, but border is applied on this only box, that is a use a table, because I'm outer border on 1 pixel on that table. Okay. For the right now, it is displaying that way. You have to apply the border to the particular CSS. Fine. Rendering dynamically, and your TR tag created dynamically. So in that way, you can apply star ngFor. Hope so you all are understand these things. If this information is value for your knowledge, just hit a like button. Your one support is for helpful by me. Also, if you want to share your friends to this valuable information to improve your performance as well, you can use to share your friend as well. And if you are channel, just hit a subscribe button. You will get updated notification to you to understand or to upgrade yourself. Thank you guys. Thank you for watching this.